Welcome to the Zone of Risk, where your injuries are foreseeable, but we're doing it anyway. Hey, Spencer.
You better believe we're doing it anyway. Hey there, Joni Mosely. Tonight on the Zone of Risk, Smokey Robinson says his sexual assault accusers are bad girls, and they're saying, who's the fool? We better shop around for a judge who's loving us. Tonight on the Zone of Risk.
I have to say, we told you so.
Did it?
Didn't we tell you so?
Did he? When it comes to the Mann Act, did it?
Did it. But everything
Sure
else,
said
did not do it.
Yeah, well, that might have been a little overcharged, you think? Like Rico?
Oh, big time. Yeah,
Like
so he had, what do you have,
company
like
funds for the baby oil?
5 charges. He was charged with racketeering and conspiracy.
Sure, will he talk about this kink?
All right. AKA Rico. He was
Yeah.
charged with sex trafficking by force of Cassie, transportation to engage in prostitution, AKA the Mann Act, AKA White Slave Traffic Act, which is interesting. Sex trafficking by force for quote unquote Jane. And then.
Wait a second. Can I go back a few there? Are you saying that Diddy was convicted of the White Sex Slave Traffic Act?
Yes, that's what the Mann Act
is.
is.
He is a white sex trafficker. Is that what you're telling me?
So they say. Apparently, the Mann Act is also known as the White Slave Traffic Act.
Was White the name of a senator? I'm hoping that it was a senator.
You'd hope so, but I don't think so.
But I
don't think that's what that means.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
And
was
then
taking a white woman across state lines, like back in the day. Is that what this was?
I don't know. I don't know why it was called White Slave Trafficking, but that's one of the names of the Mann Act, which is strange. Okay, and then
that's the most justice of all that was done here. Was Diddy was finally outed as the white slave trafficker that no one knew he was before. Okay, we learned it.
And the last one was again transportation to engage in prostitution under the Mann Act, but this time involving Jane. And
Jane Doe.
Jane Doe,
whose $10,000 a month rent he was paying at the time of trial.
At the time of trial?
At the time of trial.
Oh, my God.
I believe her testimony was, yes, he's paying my rent now. Yes, it's $10,000 a month.
Wow. That is interesting. And he gave Cassie, what, $10 or $20 million in the civil case?
She initially demanded 30, and if he'd just given it to her, all of this, the baby oil and the drugs and the assistance and everything would have just stayed quiet. And to save, he eventually paid her 20.
Yeah.
How much did he spend on this defense? I mean, and what did he go through? He could have, like, for the 30, billionaire cheapskate, saved $10 million.
So you think,
and made a lot of trouble for himself.
You think had he paid her 30, she would not have participated in the prosecution?
The prosecution happened because she filed the lawsuit. The lawsuit brought about the prosecution. I don't think there was an investigation before that.
Wow. Yeah, that's something else. Anyway, the jury knew about the payout, which I think kind of changes things a little bit. But so he was only found guilty of 2 out of the 5 charges, and those are the charges under the Mann Act or White Slavery Trafficking Act. So sex trafficking of, transportation to engage in prostitution for Cassie and for Jane. And the difference with these 2 charges as opposed to the sex trafficking by force is that consent is not a defense. And so it doesn't matter that Cassie and Jane allegedly consented. All they had to prove was transportation in interstate or foreign commerce and the intent to engage in illegal sexual activity.
And the sexual activity was that with the prostitutes that he hired?
Right, was that of prostitution.
So he didn't rent them out as prostitutes. He paid other prostitutes to come to the party.
Exactly.
And he made them have sexual acts with them.
Right, but regardless of whether you're being paid for the act, if you're engaging in somebody that's accepting money, you're engaged in the act of prostitution. And so that's what they were charged with. And yeah, there's a lot of conversation about, and I believe this too, he was likely overcharged.
Yeah.
To be in a RICO case, there's a lot more that they would have to prove for a RICO case. And I'm not sure that they had the juice to bring those charges from the outset. It's not as if something in the case fell apart. From the very beginning, it seemed as if they were very, very weak RICO charges and very, very weak sex trafficking by force charges, considering the fact that both Cassie and Jane seemed to consent to this.
RICO and defamation are maybe the 2 most overused claims in civil, that's for sure. In criminal, usually they don't the government doesn't lose a lot of stuff, but this was definitely overcharged, in my opinion.
Right, especially federal prosecutors. I mean, before a federal case is brought, there's usually a lengthy investigation, and they make sure they have their stuff together, unlike some of the state court prosecutions where you're just kind of like flying by the seat of your pants after an arrest and hoping that everything falls into place.
Right.
With these federal prosecutions, I mean, there is usually a lengthy investigation, and normally they take rock solid cases that they can't lose. But here, I mean, this was a big old dud,
Right. Cassie's lawsuit got filed, and then they raided the baby oil cabinet, and they thought they had everything they needed.
Baby oil and Astroglide.
Yeah.
And that's what they were, they thought the Astroglide was going to slide them into a victory in this case, and it just didn't happen. And so, Diddy was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he got down on his knees and thanked the Lord in the courtroom, made quite a celebration. I think his courtroom antics, he got admonished a few times for some eye contact and some things with some individual jurors throughout the trial, and I think he might have arranged for some protesters to be outside the courthouse. So the judge, do you think those things influenced the judge in his decision to hold him further without bond? I mean, he's still sitting in jail now.
Maybe, they say it's the violence. Right, the domestic abuse and all of the other violence
not a bug.
he's engaged in.
The violence is a feature, not a bug.
That's why, and he's also a very wealthy man. So maybe that's why they held him. But yes, protesters outside, who I heard that allegedly some of them were paid $20 an hour to be protesters outside. Yeah, I'm sure there were some genuine protesters, but there were some folks that were paid. Anyway,
do you think he wrote the chants that they sang, or did he let them have their own? I mean, the man's a producer.
He's a producer, and he likes to be in the videos.
Do you think he wrote the chants of the give Diddy another chance?
Maybe. I mean, I guess they're not bad lyrics.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to make a song about this when he comes out?
Do I think there's going to be a release with some prison yard video and come on.
Did he lift and weights?
No one's going to
maximize
maximize this thing like him. A microphone hanging in the prison yard. You don't know where it's hanging from, but it's there. It's hanging, and he's going to go hard. He's going to be hard now.
Yes, he's going to be hard.
Now he's got jail, and everybody knows he's also cuckoo crazy.
So Diddy won his case, but you want to know the real winner? His defense attorney.
Yeah.
Mark Agnifilo.
If they got paid, then.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he got paid. But so when Diddy goes back into the jail, they're all cheering. All the prisoners are cheering. They're all super excited for him. And I bet they all want to fire their lawyers and hire Diddy's lawyer now. So I think this guy is going to get a ton of business. But what do you think is going to happen with the sentencing? He's held in. He's supposed to be sentenced, I think, sometime around early October. I think October 3rd is supposed to be the date. So what do you think?
I think he's going to be in the 3 to 5 range.
You think so?
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be a tough spot. I think he's going to be in a better facility, where the money launderers go.
Right.
That kind of thing.
The nice federal prison.
Yeah.
But, you've done a lot of criminal.
Not as much federal, but yeah, a lot of criminal.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a fair sentence? Because I think his defense attorneys, they're asking for about 2 years. But even what the defense is asking for, is that a lot of time for a crime like this?
I mean...
And let's break it down for a minute, right?
Yeah.
So the jury found that these acts were consensual, right? That these women had gone across state lines with him willingly. Obviously, there were prostitutes involved and they were paid, but that's still consensual conduct. And now he's getting, between 2 and 5 years.
Well, let's look at it another way. If they had stayed within their state,
right?
If he's in Los Angeles, I assume he lives in California.
Right.
If him and Cassie had gone and hired a prostitute for the night, it would be some type of misdemeanor if anyone ever heard about it.
Right, yeah. If anything,
but
if he was in Miami.
This interstate hullabaloo by virtue of this Mann Act, which, I mean, honestly, the only time I've ever heard of it being used was on an episode of Boardwalk Empire. I think it was a major plot line for 5 minutes. They got out of trouble using it or something.
Yeah.
But
Was Steve Buscemi the one that was
He benefited from it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He got his case
okay.
removed to federal court under the Mann Act. And
Okay.
I was like, I've heard of this before.
Interesting.
Yeah, no. So it's not. I don't think it's charged a lot, and I don't think it's going to carry some massive guidelines that are going to require tons of prison. The question's going to become, and I hate to use this again, but did he do it to himself? Throughout this trial, did his obstreperous nature in the courtroom and his antics in the courtroom, did that put the judge into a position where he doesn't view him favorably and might make a different decision? I mean, he did hold him, and he could have made a decision to let him out and say, we've only been convicted of these 2 third-degree felonies. You've been here. I think you're going to come back to court. I'm going to release you now. But, federal judges also kind of just like to finish out the business.
Right.
They don't really want to make that mistake, have him not come back, and then you're the guy that let him go and he disappears. So yeah. But I don't think he's going to get more than 5 on any of this. I think that the federal judges are pretty serious about what gets brought in front of them. They might have a few things to say to the U.S. Attorney's Office about the overcharging too. I mean, that when that stuff happens and you bring something that's not a conviction into the courtroom.
8 weeks. I mean, really, what it was, an 8-week prostitution case.
8 week. The Karen Reed trial was a 14-week DUI trial,
right?
And this wound up being an 8-week trial for basically a prostitution, what amounts to another misdemeanor under slightly different circumstances. And how about the case in Georgia? Is it Young Thug, the racketeering thing? That thing's been going on for like 10 months now, and they've been dropping cases against defendants and doing all kinds of things. I think that the prosecutor might even have problems of her own now.
Wow, and that's another overcharged kind of situation.
Yeah. They got happy to get one of these rappers on the hook, I think, and.
Well, and that raises a big question for me, because when you're dealing with these celebrity prosecutions, right, these cases can be career making, right? If there's a conviction, the prosecutors can become very famous for that. And so I think sometimes the potential for fame sort of, it could cloud a public servant's judgment about what they're doing, about the charges that they're bringing, even police.
We've seen it before. Do you know anyone that was fired from the state attorney's office for using social media to promote their other activities?
I heard about that. Yeah. And it also happens, I remember back when I was a prosecutor, I had a case, and it was a drug trafficking case. It was cocaine and marijuana, and it was the subject of one of those, very popular police dramas, kind of reality dramas at the time. And so some of the cops in this police reality drama were quite famous. And one of the more famous cops, he was the lead investigator on this case, and he was involved in the seizure of the marijuana and the cocaine. And it was interesting because there were photos of the drugs from my case all over this person's website and all over the place, right?
The officer's website?
The officer's website.
A personal website? He had a personal website.
It was a personal website, and there were pictures of the drugs and all of that. And so it looked like a big deal, this big deal drug bust, right?
I see where this is going.
And so I get the case, and I said, well, where's the chain of custody for the drugs? Who seized the drugs? And there was none. There was nobody written on the police report. No other officers seemingly were involved in this. I mean, of course, there had to have been, right? Yeah. But none of it was documented. And as a result of the lack of chain of custody, we had to drop the case. And so shout out to the drug trafficker who got off, because the police officer was more interested in being famous than doing his job. But I think that, it's a problem in our society when you have celebrity public servants. Those things simply don't go together, in my estimation.
I've had a few of those.
Yeah.
I've had a few of those. Yes. I've both the celebrity public servants that think that they're more famous than their menial tasks, and a few drug dealers who got off. Speaking of drug dealers who got off, what are you wearing today? You look lovely.
Well, thank you very much. I'm wearing an ensemble put together by just some online purchases, and thank you. What about you? You look lovely.
$13 on Temu.
Really?
No.
The whole suit?
No, I made that up. I'm just kidding. Nothing's from Temu, but I thought it would sound good. I can sell them. Like, hey,
Oh,
yeah.
you are looking very snazzy today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So what else do you have for us?
Well, I was thinking there was one that we didn't discuss, but I don't know if you're aware of, but Perry Farrell, also known as the Ziggy Sabatka of the rock and roll world, is getting sued by his Jane's Addiction bandmates. Were you aware of this?
I had no idea.
Oh well, they had
Jane's Addiction, Being Caught Stealing, right? Yeah. I loved that song. Yeah.
Do you really?
I loved it at the time. Yeah, it came out.
Man,
Video. They're in the grocery store.
Yeah, this should be a crime. They should be a crime. But anyway, they were they had a tough rollout. They had a concert where they got back together. They reunited, and
Did you go?
no, but I think it was
it
actually
in Barnstable?
No, but it was in Boston, I believe. And it turned into like a fight on stage. Perry Farrell allegedly assaulted Dave Navarro, the guitar player. There's some video available you can see. I think the volume was too loud. I don't know what exactly is going on, but Perry Farrell's, this guy's always had some issues. He's always been his own worst enemy, along with like all of our worst enemy with his vocals. So he got into a thing and he went over and pushed and shoved Dave Navarro on stage. And they basically pulled the plug on the whole concert and the rest of the tour.
Wow.
So the band is suing him for their lost revenue from an album they planned to record, lost revenue from the tour that was booked and then all canceled. And Dave Navarro has added an assault and battery count as the coup de grace.
Yeah.
A common law assault and battery claim for the shove on stage.
Okay.
In the true punk rock tradition of getting in the mosh pit and fucking some people up, he's suing over the little nudge because hey, dude, you're deafening me with your 200-watt amplifiers. Can you just turn it down?
Yeah.
He's suing, broke up the tour, and Dave Navarro went back to sleep in his Aleister Crowley purchased coffin. That's what he does. He sleeps in coffins.
Oh, I've never slept in a coffin.
He sleeps in a coffin.
I have claustrophobia.
From Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley's coffin.
Oh, wow.
That's what I've heard.
Is Aleister Crowley still alive?
No.
Was that the coffin that he was buried in?
Good point. I don't know. I mean, I hope not.
Different coffin.
I think he owned.
He had coffins lying around.
No, it was a recreational coffin. Why are you like fucking up my story?
Sorry.
It's a coffin, man. Like, no, I really don't know. There's always been that story that he's into like rituals and like candles and like he probably is piercing himself right now. Who knows? He's like one of those cats. It's like right now he's like sitting in some bathtub with like 30 candles around him, like putting pins into dolls of us. Like I'm gonna ruin these legal podcasters for what they said. But anyway, I don't know. So he's so he's suing over the shove on stage. You can go online and see that for yourself and decide what kind of assault and battery that is in the punk rock world.
All right.
But that's another interesting one.
And this is a civil suit.
It's a civil suit. I don't think anybody was arrested over
it.
But the tour broke up very quickly, and they went their separate ways already. But now it's time for it's all over but the crying.
Yeah.
It's all over but the lawsuits.
Wow. Yeah. Well, speaking of other folks in the music industry, let's talk about the not so quiet storm involving Smokey Robinson.
That's right.
Soft and warm.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Interesting. I found some Smokey Robinson lyrics that I had never heard before. And I wanted to know, have you heard of the Smokey Robinson classic, Gasms?
Gasms?
Gasms.
No. What are gasms?
It's not chasms. It's not like the chasm between us.
Right.
It's
universe.
Well,
Gasms.
I'll let you decide for yourself. Why don't you take a look? This
All
is
right.
Smokey Robinson's
Do I have
Gasms.
to sing it?
You can. I don't know if you can sing it without hearing it. But
I
you
don't
just
think so.
tell me what you think of these lyrics. If you were asked, hold on, wait, don't look yet.
Okay.
If you were asked to defend Smokey, now just so we so we know, just to lay some groundwork here. Smokey Robinson is being sued by several of his housekeepers for sexual assault and hostile workplace environment claims. They're alleging that over the years of working for him, they were forced to perform sexual acts or forced into situations where they were coerced or pressured to. And they've also sued his wife.
What'd she do?
Well, alleging, I believe she's
Mrs.
part of,
Robinson.
well, she's definitely part of the counterclaim.
Yeah.
But she, they claim that she knew of other settled cases and then permitted these things to happen again and again. So he's also, as I alleged earlier in our intro, he has countersued them for defaming him.
Defamation.
What did I just say about defamation? For $500 million.
Wow.
They've done. Can you believe that Smokey Robinson's career in the state that it's in, I mean, not that he's not great. I love Smokey Robinson. But that there's $500 million of damage to do to his reputation. Can you imagine being that high up?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's got some hits. They play that, at least the beginning of The Quiet Storm, on radio stations around the country every day, actually.
Yeah, everybody's got to pay some dues.
Everybody's got to pay some dues. Yeah. So
you beat me to the punch.
So no, this is
Bad
interesting
girl.
though. I think that it's interesting that he's hitting back. Right? He's got his own case.
I say? 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
Mary Wells, written by Smokey Robinson.
Wow, he's got a lot. So am I looking at this? Am I reading through it?
Yes, I would like to hear what you think if you were approached by your opposing counsel representing these housekeepers, and they said, Joni, Ms. Mosely, we're going to use this song. We'd like to use this. What do you think about this? Well, tell us, first of all, let's go over it. Could you read gasms to our faithful 11 and a half listeners? Let's let them hear. Hold on one moment.
All right.
One moment.
Right.
Isolate, and no, I'm kidding. Okay.
When I look at you, it makes me feel better than good.
Oh.
And what I see is you and me together forever. I'm knocking on wood.
Oh.
Every kind of gasm in the book. Each I has them every time I take a look.
I has them?
Yeah, I has them.
Nice,
Each I has them every time I take a look.
You wrote this.
You give me gasms.
Ooh.
I gasms. You're too responsible for mine. There's something over this. Something gasms.
If you need the
gasms,
hook, it's on the
gasms,
next page.
gasms.
Oh, gasms.
And then eargasms. When I hear your voice, my eardrums start to quiver. It's a sexy sound. Makes my love come down. And I know you can deliver. Any kind of gasm on the list. The gasms you don't give me, I don't think exist.
Oh.
It's beautiful. This is beautiful. This is a love song. I can tell about the gasms.
It's like a love song, but for like maybe a girl that you just paid in a brothel. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a little like
Eyegasms.
freaky.
Eargasms.
Eargasms.
Yeah, I got all gasms.
It's pretty out there.
Yeah,
He's putting it out there, right?
Right.
That's not his his traditional. Like, did you know that Smokey was rolling like this? Like, did he go after the Marvin Gaye, like, let's get sexy market?
Yeah, I had no idea. I don't think I've ever actually heard this song. That's why I couldn't sing it. I don't know how it goes exactly. But, sounds like he was having some sexy time.
Yeah.
With some peoples. Doesn't mean he was banging the housekeepers, though.
No, I'm not really saying it's relevant. It's just kind of funny that you didn't really know that that Smokey Robinson was going this far down the wop chicka wop wow route,
just because it's not relevant doesn't mean it isn't evidence.
I mean, it's more like Ohio players than Smokey Robinson,
right.
Yeah. But it's
good
some
stuff. I'm gonna play some gasms tonight.
You're gonna hit gasms on the playlist.
I'm gonna hit gasms on the playlist tonight.
I'm definitely gonna hit gasms on the playlist. But yeah, poor Smokey. But how do you now? Let me put you in the unvenerable position of defending Smokey again.
Okay.
How do you feel about maybe not just the defamation claim, but the strategy of bringing this counterclaim against plaintiffs, against people that are saying I've been wronged, I've been harmed, I want to bring this out there, and then him sort of going over the top and being let me how do you feel about that as a strategy, as
Right.
from a practitioner standpoint?
Well, I mean, I think that, people need to be careful what you say within a context of a lawsuit. So what you say in your complaint and things that you're filing with the court are protected from defamation claims. However, when you start giving the press conferences and, when you start giving statements to the media, that is no longer protected. That's no longer within the context of your legal claim. And you've got to be careful. However, I do think that, people have a right to hit back. And if this stuff isn't true, if somebody said something about me like that wasn't true and they filed a lawsuit and then they went and talked to the media about it, I would sue for defamation. Yeah,
it would give
absolutely.
You counterclaim gasms.
It would give me counterclaim gasms, man. Yeah.
Go at them.
Yeah, would you?
Tough to say. I think that when you're having the same trial, would I personally? Listen, I don't know. I might get pretty hot and I might want to bring that counterclaim. Would I advise my client to do it if it were Smokey and you're down to this is what they're saying and this is the thing? I don't know. It's a really tough question because that could also really turn off the jurors and make them not like your side of things if they see you as a bully.
Right.
Beating up some housekeepers that were initially pressured into doing some things, and it's like, here's the cycle continuing. Like, you're going to beat them into submission, not beat them in that sense, but or any other sense, but like pressure them into doing what you want to do with this counterclaim of like, I have all these millions of dollars, and if a judgment for me would wipe you out,
Right.
I don't know. Do you think how about from that standpoint, the optics of it? Could the optics of that prejudice a jury away from your otherwise winning defense of Smokey?
Maybe.
Everybody plays the fool.
Right. And yeah, you certainly don't want to play the fool. However, if their claim against Smokey is, if it's somewhat of a credible claim, right? They've got some evidence of something and you think it's going to make it to the jury, then no, maybe strategically you don't want to bring the defamation claim. However, if you think that their claims are so nonsensical that you may get out on summary judgment on their claims, and then what stands is your defamation claim, then yeah, I say bring the defamation claim. If their claims are so far-fetched that they're not going to make it to a jury, I think that that's all the more reason to bring the defamation claim. So I guess it depends on how strong their case is and how confident you are in your defamation claim. But it is good pressure. It does put a lot of pressure because the plaintiff's attorney took this case and they're thinking, all right, I'm just going after Smokey. And now they're defending a defamation claim, which is not the easiest thing to do. So I think it puts pressure on the plaintiff's attorney. And I think it also puts some pressure on the plaintiffs themselves to, it tells them, look, if you're bringing this against me, you better really bring it or else.
We're going to have to see where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I believe that Smokey's lawyer has filed a motion to strike their complaint. Or certain aspects of their complaint. So, and I believe he's also filing to strike their use of fictitious names, which again might be strategic and maybe in a case where a criminal case where you're looking to expose who's the confidential informant and that gets you something. In this case, could the optics of outing one of these plaintiffs actually backfire even further?
It might, yeah. We'll have to see, but it's a ballsy move. I mean, he's got a lawyer that's fighting it, and and he is too, and so I like that.
I say kudos to Smokey, being a what is he, about 85-year-old man with enough of a sex drive to still get him into this much trouble.
When did these things happen?
Smokey. Good for you.
Yes.
Good for you in some respects.
Shout out to Smokey. Congratulations.
Maybe just, with the housekeepers, keep it in your pants and keep it professional, but in the future,
right.
But, hey, those are the tracks of your tears, not mine, buddy.
So let's talk about another case. Hello. Medea is accused of sexual harassment and workplace gender violence. Did you hear about that?
Who's the accuser on that one?
It's an employee.
Really?
Of Tyler Perry.
He's an actor.
What is his name? He's an
Derek
actor.
Dixon.
Yes, Derek Dixon.
And he was on the Tyler Perry show, The Oval, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, it's Tyler Perry is accused of sexual harassment, of making sexual advancements toward him, physical advancements, and there are also some text messages that aren't so great.
What kind of text messages?
Well,
Joni Mosely?
There's a text message where Tyler Perry is asking him about sex. Let me pull it up and see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's asking him when he is going to stop being so shy about sex. Let me pull this. Oh, what's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex?
With him?
So, I don't know. I don't know the context of the text message.
But this is like from Tyler Perry's the producer of the show, right?
Right.
And this guy is an actor of the show, so he works for him.
He works for him.
So this was like him saying to his employee, what's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex?
Right. So I'm trying to think of an innocent context where you would send that text message to an employee, allegedly. But
you have innocent con, sure. You have a husband, don't you, Joni?
I have a husband. I do.
Okay. And your husband has a job, right?
Got a job.
He's got a regular old job where he works for some people. If your husband was receiving a text message from his male superior, and look, I don't think anybody. Let me just put this out there: nobody wants to sexually assault your husband.
I don't think so.
Nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody does. You picked up this gem and shined it off, and it's yours forever. So that's your diamond, lady. But if you, in this hypothetical, if your husband received a text message from a male supervisor, or let's even call him superior in every single way,
a male superior,
who said, "What's it going to take for you to have guilt-free sex?" And there's a question mark there?
There's a question mark. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The most titillating part of all.
The question mark.
The most exciting mark.
So what do you think he meant by that? I mean, can we think of an innocent context? I really can't. I mean, I've got employees have never sent anyone a text message like that. As an employment lawyer, I also handle employment cases. As an employment lawyer, man, I would love this case. What a great text message.
Mm-hmm. Now, the case is not only the text message, right?
It's not just the text message. No, the individual who's suing has, he's got allegations. He claims that Tyler approached him inappropriately in certain instances.
Some unwanted advances.
Right?
Some groping.
Oftentimes employment cases are kind of like a he said, or he said, she said. But when you've got the messages, man, oh man, that changes the case.
It's tough to come up with a reason why one man is texting another man about this world of guilt-free sex they could enjoy together. Right. Yeah, that's I mean, hey, maybe that's for the show, because the name of the show was The Oval. Who knows what that really means? Who knows where it's going?
Who knows?
I don't know.
But apparently, allegedly, Tyler Perry threatened to fire him. And, so this guy stuck around hoping that, he would be able to maintain his career. And meanwhile, trying to dodge these advances. So it seems to me like it's going to be a tough case for Tyler Perry, where I was very skeptical about the allegations against City. This civil lawsuit, obviously the standard proof is very different, but this civil lawsuit, it might have some teeth. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if this employment case fell on my lap. I wouldn't be mad. I'd be happy to have it. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I would. Yeah. I mean, I think he's definitely got himself some problems with it. I don't know if there's $260 million of damages that's going to be there, but
he's a starting number.
Probably going to need to pay to settle it.
He's going to have to pay something. Yeah.
I mean, the other part is the longer it goes on, the longer the talk in Hollywood is about that, instead of how awesome you look in the grandma dress doing the routine that everyone loves. It's so fresh. When he does the grandma, it's so good.
It's Medea. It's so good.
How can you not love those movies? They're great. It's
I've only seen a couple of them, but they are funny. And they started out as plays. He was going all over the country doing these plays, and this is how he got big in the movie business.
He was dressing up as a lady all these years.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
You're kidding. No,
yeah.
Of course. It's nothing. It's
nothing.
It's all a joke of dressing up as a woman until it turns out that it's not.
Until you're texting your employees about guiltless sex.
Right. What would it take to enter this world where we're skipping through the mountains and valleys together?
But Tyler Perry, he saved some of the heirs of the royal family.
What?
You never heard about this?
No.
In Prince Harry's book Spared, Tyler Perry, when they didn't have money for security and they were living, apparently they were destitute at some point. I'm joking about the destitute part, but they needed a secure place to stay. And Tyler Perry, who really didn't know them at all,
spend $10,000 a month on them.
To do it. No, Diddy wasn't going to do it.
Just on a royal, just to have a royal in his thing for the videos or something?
I don't think he had a chance to. If Diddy had a chance, maybe.
Should have made the offer.
But he gave them, or let them use, a mansion in California and a whole team of security.
Mansions.
So
that was only going to be used for unwanted sexual advances and groping, and that wasn't in the calendar for a few months yet. So he was able to fit them in.
He had some free time.
Have my people talk to your people, and you can use the groping mansion. Alleged groping.
But that
mansion.
was very nice of him.
Yeah,
I will say. Yeah.
He's got a heart. Maybe just a little too much love.
Maybe.
A little too much love in the oval. I don't know.
Right in the oval.
Right in the oval.
So there's no fool like an old fool. And so let's talk about Shannon Sharpe. These ridiculous allegations, well, I shouldn't say the allegations are ridiculous, but I find that he is in a ridiculous predicament.
Talk to me about it.
So, well, he's a lover of young women.
Mm.
And he was in a relationship with a young woman. I think she was 19 when they started out. He was in his late 50s.
They probably got into the relationship because she couldn't understand anything he was saying, and it was a miscommunication.
I listened to his podcast. It was
Did you?
I have listened to when what's his name was the Monique episode. I listened to, and I also listened to the one Cat Williams. That's probably his highest rated episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you understand what he was saying?
I mean, he laughed a lot, but yeah, I could understand some of it.
All right, I'm not going to do my Shannon Sharpe impression. We're going to just
do it.
To keep her.
Do it.
Move the football. Move the ball. You run the ball. Run the ball. You down the field. You down the field. You lay down the foot on there on Sunday. You move down the football, and it's a touchdown. That's Shannon Sharpe.
Well, so maybe it was a misunderstanding between
That's what I'm
him
saying.
and the
I don't think this
19-year-old.
girl even knew she was dating him. Maybe until it was too late.
Well, he's accused sexual assault, rape, battery, all sorts of stuff, emotional distress damages. She's looking for.
Can you? Would it be
$50 million.
distressing? Would it be emotionally distressing to date Shannon Sharpe? How would you like to have a claim like that brought against you? It was emotionally distressing. It was emotionally distressing to date you.
I'm sure that I traumatized a few people back in my day.
Yeah, I bet you still are.
Although, I mean, I started dating my husband when I was like 12.
In theory, you still are traumatized.
But I'm sure he's traumatized.
Yeah,
he
was traumatized
by the whole
got
marriage.
Yeah.
But if you remember from his podcast, Monique was on there, and this is before these allegations came out. And she was saying that he needs to get him an old gal, right? An older woman to take good care of him and to start being out here messing with these young chicks. And, I mean, I don't know if her allegations are true or not, but it is a bit strange that a man of his age is dating a woman that young. I know a lot of guys do it. Bill Belichick, he's got his young...
Yeah, but she's like
little
35. Thing. She's young. She's young for
but
him.
But not 19.
Like, that's not also like someone that just got their voting card within the past 18 months. That's a little different. I mean, honestly, what would you have to talk about with someone who's 18 years old?
I think very little. I mean, I can't imagine.
I don't even know.
I mean, that's an 18-year-old is closer to my kid's age.
Someone that's that age still has a fucking Fortnite account. Like
They still have a
they have
Fortnite
like
account.
that person
Yeah.
has a Roblox account. You
Right.
can't be in a
They're
relationship
on their
with
parents'
them.
health
You're
insurance.
on ESPN. Think of yourself. Protect
Right.
yourself, my man. Protect
You think she had a
yourself.
Roblox account? She might
She's
have.
still-
I should get her
she's-
Roblox handle.
Yeah, I bet her YouTube feed is probably more like my kid's YouTube feed than like, she probably knows who like I Show Speed is or things like that. Like,
or Mr. Beast.
These are kids, right? These
Yeah.
are like more children things than adult things. And
Yeah.
this is a man who had a football career before her parents had sex and made her.
Right. But I think it's a level of control. I think that, when you have them that young, you can tell them to do things.
Oh,
That,
kids, you have them that young. Do you want to? Is it enjoyable controlling them and telling them to do things? Really?
Oh, my kids don't listen to me, so I wouldn't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I have no idea.
There's no control.
They're-
You think you think that the beauty for Shannon, just to digress, the thing for Shannon Sharpe that he gets out of this is controlling a 19-year-old girl. How the fuck do you look now? How are you controlling her now with a lawsuit for $50 million against you?
Thing.
Backfire.
Yeah,
that's a fail.
That's a fail.
That's a fail.
Big time fail.
Control fail. I guess control fail.
Yeah, so he denies the allegations, and he's claiming that it's consensual. So we'll see. This may go the way of the Diddy case. Although I think that the Shannon Sharpe allegations might be. I think they might just be civil. Although I'm not 100% sure if there are any criminal charges here.
She alleging that he like hit her and tormented her and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Abuse and verbal abuse, sexual abuse, and
how long did she stay with
and
him?
the whole thing? I don't know. I think it was a while.
Yeah,
but but it's always that they're scared, right? They're scared to leave because they're thinking that even worse things are going to happen to them if they stand up for themselves.
It could be. Honestly, it really could be. But with guys with this much money, sometimes it's the other thing.
He's a great big guy.
Yeah, I
power.
really thought more of the Diddy allegations until those text messages started coming out.
Right.
And when you start to prejudge it and say, this guy's a football player, he's probably an asshole. Yeah, maybe he is, maybe he's not. We really don't know what someone's like behind closed doors. She's saying what she's saying, and you never really know, until we get into it. I honestly did think there was more to the Diddy case until when the text messages coming out from Cassie, bringing up the idea of one of these freak-offs, which was when she was sexually man-acted, pimped, man-acted, sexually brought across state lines for sexual purposes, prostitutioned. That was then and there at those events, and she's like saying like, hey, let's do this now. Let's do one of these.
Yeah.
So you never really know. I think you're going to have to get in there and see. Not to say that she wasn't, subjected to things and tormented. Honestly, I think that having to live with and endure Shannon Sharpe for any amount of time deserves compensation at the highest levels.
Probably.
So I think that she should get paid, but I don't know anything about her claims. I'm not saying whether that's true or not. Just that she had to probably talk to him.
Well, the Diddy lawyers, she brought up Diddy, the Diddy lawyers were really smart because in the opening statements, they laid it out on the line. And they said, look, we're not saying he's not a violent guy. We're not saying that he's not a bad guy, right? But domestic violence is not RICO.
He's a freak. He's going to freak off. Freak, that's just how it is.
And he hit Cassie. And so I think it is really good when you bring out all of, the good, the bad, and the ugly right from the outset. But you say, but that's not this. That's not this charge. That's not this crime. So, hopefully Shannon Sharpe's lawyers, it's a civil suit, I think, but hopefully they're able to say, hey, maybe he was a jerk.
Well,
but
with the Diddy allegations, it's these allegations in this case were one thing, but some of the things that have come up through this and through, I don't know if it's through the discovery directly or just through this case, but he threatened to blow up somebody's car, which later then blew up. He was on the warpath with various people who later turned up dead and dying from, open gunshot wound syndrome. And one of those, Biggie, supposedly, maybe he might be involved in Biggie's death,
I've
allegedly.
Heard that some of his family members think that. Yeah.
So,
and Kim Porter, there's some speculation about how she died.
Right. So my point is that I think what this generation has not had is they don't know what we went through with OJ. They don't know. They have no idea what we went through. We were there when the white Bronco chase happened. We watched it in real time. There was nothing else on TV.
Nothing else.
Everything else that was on TV got canceled, and everything else became white Bronco chase. And it became the trial of the century. And I think that the kids that are the age that Shannon Sharpe is dating don't know the pleasure of the OJ Bronco chase, the unifying event of all of us just watching this thing unfold universally in front of us. And then we get the second act because OJ was back out stealing his memorabilia back at gunpoint, back out like running the streets again. And
terrorizing.
I mean, look, over like some signed footballs and Heisman trophies, he went and held people at gunpoint in Arizona allegedly and was convicted, went to prison, whatever.
He lost it.
He was convicted on that. Yeah, no, it was armed robbery. So now what I think, and that was the end. He got back out a little bit, I think, and then
he got back out, and then he was too old for any more mischief.
But this generation is going to learn about what it's like to have one of our celebrities rise from the dead, come back, reincarnate as Diddy Part 2. OJ, after like beating the murder case, was unstoppable OJ. That was unstoppable OJ.
He was a mess after beating that murder case.
He was
a shadow.
No, he was not. He wasn't getting any like more Hertz or Avis commercials or anything like
he was
that.
Done.
But he wasn't still like a viable property for anything. Well, maybe.
Yeah, but he had fun.
He still was out there on the golf course looking for the real killer. Like having living some version of his best life. I think he still kept the house.
Yeah, well, because he moved to Florida, and
that's what he did.
Homestead.
Yeah,
homestead, and so they couldn't get his house, and so he was living the high life in Florida. And unfortunately, the Goldmans and the Browns were unable to get to his wealth here. And so now, going back to when the O.J. Simpson trial was happening, tell the truth. Did you think he was guilty at the time?
At the time versus now?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I can't imagine anyone still thinks he's innocent now, but at the time, did you think he was guilty?
Yeah, I kind of thought that he was guilty,
Yeah.
At the time, I thought that. I mean, I'm not saying like the Bronco chase is the thing that makes you believe he's guilty, but if you knew enough of the facts, and by the way, I will tell you, my wife and I have vehemently disagreed on this subject.
She thinks OJ's innocent?
She thinks there was police malfeasance and it deserves a not guilty. I don't know if she believes he's factually innocent. She may. But I have to tell you, I don't think that. But she did also buy me for my birthday one year a DVD from some guy that you have to like order it from because this trial like exists on somebody's VHS tape somewhere in like Cleveland. And she ordered me the F. Lee Bailey cross and recross of Mark Furman, and it is great. It is masterful.
Nice.
He's
How
so
did
good.
you get a recross?
I forget why, because I don't know. This was Judge Lance Ito. He let a lot of stuff happen, and he let him recross because I guess new stuff came up during the cross. But he had this line. Furman was this, before this is like. The racism stuff was just coming out now, and he asked him a million times, like, you never use this word, right? And the guy's like, nope. Yeah. And then he like does the tape. But part of the, there were other really, truly amazing moments during this cross. This is a cop, and it's these cops they can have a little bit of testosterone, and they want to like act tough with you, and especially with lawyers, sometimes they want to act tough like the cop. Tough, and it doesn't really work in the courtroom once you get them there. And he had a strategy that was just amazing of disarming and just chopping away at Furman a little bit every time he asked it. Furman said something about, and it was one of these things that came up, and he was listening, he was paying attention, and he heard something. He wasn't just there with a list of things to say. He was listening and paying attention to what was being said. And Furman mentioned something about his mini Maglite flashlight. He talked about, those flashlights, those Maglights at the top of the full-size ones that they sometimes they have been known to beat people with those. Anyway, he talked about when he's going around the house and the only flashlight he had was the mini Maglite, and he starts making all of these diminutive phallus references to the mini. He said, "Did you wait for some backup with a full-size flashlight?" And the jury was laughing at him.
Oh my gosh.
And this is the homicide detective. And he just by listening and by like Miles Davis, like a jazz musician, he heard a note that was played on the other side of the room, and he made this part of his cross. He improvised this.
Yeah.
It's absolutely awesome. His performance was absolutely awesome. Obviously, F. Lee Bailey was disbarred here in the state of Florida.
He was disbarred.
And later passed away, sort of in ignominy, I guess is the word. But he does some absolutely stellar work in this. And if you get a chance, if I can find where that DVD is, I'll let it.
Okay, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, I mean, there was some really good lawyering in that case. I mean, the lawyers won that case. I mean, they really did. The facts were terrible.
Barry Scheck, too.
I mean, his blood was everywhere, and this was like in the infancy of DNA evidence, right?
Yeah.
And there's just no way that you can plausibly explain, and this is why they went with the conspiracy theory. Why is his blood at her house, and why is her blood, and then why is Goldman's blood? And I mean, there's no reason in the world that Goldman's blood should be anywhere near his
hands
stuff.
Were all damaged
they were all wrapped up. It was a mess. I have to say, though, in the 1990s, because everybody that I knew thought it was a conspiracy, and they thought that O.J. was not guilty.
Yeah.
And so I was a young person. I wasn't following the testimony, And so I thought that O.J. had been framed, too. Yeah, I bought in. I bought into the Chewbacca defense, as they call it. I bought into the whole thing.
Malfeasance, though. I mean, I think there was some. It's not to say that they didn't do some things wrong,
right?
And bring some. I mean, obviously, Furman #1, I alluded to earlier, was asked by F. Lee Bailey about 30 different times if he'd ever used the word in any circumstance, and the answer was no.
Right.
And he said no, and he said no some more, and then he said no, and then he said no. And then they brought in the tapes of him crying to a police department shrink and complaining about the people that he thinks ruins everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't the kids ruining the downtown this time.
Right.
It was the N-word.
Yeah.
And then you have, Los Angeles County jurors hearing about a really racist cop who could have had the opportunity to tamper with things. So
right. And he had the backstory with the LAPD and the Rodney King riots and all of that. And so the Rodney King beating. And so, right. So you're having all of this up against that backdrop. And so there's obviously a difference between him being factually innocent and him being legally not guilty.
Right.
I understand the not guilty because when you have police officers lying, it's, well, if they're lying about this one thing, right? If he's lying about using the N-word,
right? What
else is he lying about? And he also took the fifth,
where he
on certain things, and so that's just I understand why it might have been a not guilty, but it was such a shame because he was so guilty.
He really did.
He absolutely killed those people.
I mean, he was convicted in civil court of this, so.
Yeah.
And I know he's not around to sue us, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say I really believe that O.J. killed those two people.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'll tell you the other thing that was it was such a landmark thing, not to go back into this, thing, but it was such a landmark thing because I think it was one of those things in American history where voices are heard that weren't really being heard in that context. The riot is the voice of the accused is an expression. And I think that was a clear message about police brutality, you might want to call it. Right. Maybe it wasn't, it was more Rodney King that was the video that we saw that was the message of that out of Los Angeles. But at the same time, the verdict was something that I think for a lot of white America was completely shocking. I mean, it was one of these things for white people watching this trial, they had no idea what they were seeing when that verdict came out. Right. No idea, especially if they were watching it rather casually and just they saw the Bronco chase and they heard some things were happening. But I think that was really a true cultural moment. I don't know if Diddy is going to lubricate his way into our culture in that same fashion that OJ did. I think
so.
things are much it's a bigger marketplace now. It's not like CNN went 24 hours a day because of that, basically. Like it did change things. It really did change things.
It made the 24-hour news cycle and all of that. I mean, that's all there was on TV all the time. Was the O.J. Simpson case. And so, no, I don't think Diddy is going to have the same sort of cultural impact. Although, it's very clear to me that he was overcharged. And, now he's going to go to jail for these things, which he was rightfully convicted of.
Right.
I mean, they met the elements of those crimes. And let's see what Diddy's next act is going to be.
See what
he's in his 50s. I mean, so if he's going to go and spend a few years in prison.
He's got a lot to do.
But, he's going to be a prison celebrity. He already is. They love him in prison.
Are you kidding?
So, he'll do his time. And like Avon Barksdale says, you only do 2 days. The day you get in and the day you get out. Yeah. That's right. Diddy's going to do his time. He's going to get out and we'll see what happens.
In the same episode. So we're going to have to take it easy on those. The other thing that's different is with the OJ trial, we got to see that trial. It was in state court in California. And we actually got to see almost everything happen in that trial. I mean, there's the epic moment with the glove when he's putting it on and whether it's really not fitting or he's just putting his hand some kind of way, and and then there's Johnny Cochran's epic rhymes of glove not fit and you must acquit. There's just so many epic moments that happened in that trial that we didn't get to see in the Diddy case.
Right.
And who knows, I mean, this is a little bit. I mean, that was a murder, and they made it into a bit of a circus.
Yeah.
Because the police made it into a circus. Right. And who knows? This one might have become a circus also, but we just didn't get the ringside seats that we got there.
But... And I think that in a way it's better. I think that when you got cameras in the courtroom, again, you have the thing where you're mixing public service with celebrity, and that changes the decisions that people make. I wonder how Judge Ito would have conducted himself and what he would have let into evidence and what he would have excluded from evidence had it been a closed courtroom.
Right. I mean, you remember the circus that the late night shows had with that. Jay Leno had the dancing Itos.
Right.
They had a dance crew of Asian men in robes dancing around and doing choreographed dancing dressed as Judge Ito with gavels. I mean, it became a spectacle. The trial itself became a spectacle. The lawyers were able to make it into a spectacle. And then So, I mean, this didn't become that way in that sense, but we will see Diddy's second act, and I think that he's got some fun adventures planned for us all.
Yeah, so we're all going to stay tuned.
I got one more. Let's talk about one more thing here.
Yeah.
Before we break, I know we've been talking a lot about maybe some entertainers and their legal woes, but I was thinking the other day, for some reason, I don't know why, Suge Knight popped into my head. And I Googled him, and I realized that he is in prison for 28 years for voluntary manslaughter.
Yeah.
Were you aware of this?
I was aware of that. Yeah, because Suge actually commented on the Diddy trial, and somehow he was on the phone from prison calling into these news stations. And believe it or not, he was somewhat supportive of Diddy, which is strange given their history, right? Bad Boy versus Death Row, West Coast, East Coast rap battle.
Yeah.
Suge thought Diddy was overcharged, I think.
I don't know if Suge was necessarily on anyone's side in that whole thing. I think he was pretty much just like a soldier for hire. I think.
Well, but he didn't kick him when he was down.
He got involved and cornered Eazy-E and made him cough up his death row or his profits on Ice Cube or Dre.
Something like that. And he also held somebody over a balcony.
Baseball bats.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other rap.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're very similar, Suge and Diddy.
That's what
seemingly.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think they're two peas in a pod. They really they see each other, and it's like, a fisherman recognizes another fisherman.
They give the nod.
They're like, yeah, it's like I've also blown up people because they fucked with me. So have I.
Right.
As have I. But the circumstances of this were kind of crazy. Apparently, I didn't know any of this, but he ran two people over during the filming of Straight Outta Compton? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I don't remember what he was filming, but I do remember, and I thought it was attempts. I didn't realize he actually hurt people, but yeah, he was trying to run people over on a movie set.
Hit and right.
It's a hit and run, and he killed him. Yeah, so he's in. He's in custody.
And he's commenting on the Diddy case there.
Yeah, he was commenting on the Diddy case. They would have live footage, like live calls from Suge Knight.
Who were the people that he ran over?
I have no idea.
It sounds like he might have done this on purpose. Was this a purposeful running people?
I mean, you'd think so. I mean, you'd think so.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
No, he's not a great guy.
Are you sure? He dangled Vanilla Ice off a balcony.
Oh, it was Vanilla Ice. He dangled off the balcony.
It was Ice Baby.
Yeah.
That he took the hook from.
Right.
I forget what track it's from, but he.
Right. It wasn't from Ice Baby, but it was from another. It was from another one of his songs, right? Because wasn't Ice Baby stolen from Sting?
No.
The track. Dun, 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 dun. Wasn't that?
No, that's from Queen.
Oh, from Queen.
That's Under Pressure.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
Under Pressure by Queen.
Okay.
That.
Right, and I don't think Queen commissioned Suge Knight to hang Vanilla Ice over a balcony. I don't think that happened.
That's
no,
not
that's
who they're
no.
working for.
No, I don't think so.
He had his own methods, but they were effective at times.
I guess
They
so.
were effective.
So maybe in prison, maybe him and Diddy can reunite if this could be arranged by the Bureau of Prisons. I don't know if Suge Knight is in federal or state custody, but that would be nice to have like a West Coast, East Coast rap reunion in prison. That could be the second act.
Fortunately or fortunately, we're not going to allow the gatekeeper and the keymaster to get together and screw up the whole city of New York together. Suge Knight is in state prison in California.
Darn it.
He got the maximum penalty for voluntary manslaughter is 11 years, but that was doubled because of Knight's prior convictions under the state's 3 strikes law. So
the old 3 strikes law.
he had a few strikes.
Yeah, does that still exist in California? The old 3 strikes?
Yeah, they hold a grudge.
Okay.
They hold a grudge. They hold those strikes against you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida has its own. I mean, it's the career criminal statutes are a version of 3 strikes.
Yeah, I mean, there are a million ways to get life in prison in Florida. And in Florida, life is life. There is no parole here.
There's 50 ways to leave your lover and a million ways to get life in prison in Florida. You want to come and try it? You want to try it? You better bring your big boy pants. This is the Zone of Risk.